Well, today we're going to show you how to build an ordinary standard Bluebird birdhouse built with western red cedar lumber and brad nails mixed with Tightbond 2 exterior wood glue that's designed for birdhouses. We use some basic tools here in the shop. I've got 2 table saws. I've got 2 drill presses for cutting the holes, and I use an assorted method to mass produce my pieces so that they are of a standard size. I try to build birdhouses at least in the numbers of 20 pieces at a time, and that way I can move on to my next projects to keep my inventory up. Right now my inventory is down a little bit because of the sales that I've had. I've got some birdhouses that I need worse than others. This is a shop that I have here constructed at my house. I'm retired, and we're going to start with the basic plans. These pieces are already cut out. I have the side pieces here are 10 inches tall, and they're cut on an angle of 68 degrees to give the roof a proper angle. And you have to cut these pieces in pairs so that they are perfectly cut, matched, set to where they're square on the bottom, and when you cut both of them at the same time, your angle cut is the same. If you have a bowed piece like this, you want to put the bow to the middle to where the birdhouse is a little bit bigger, but it also allows your door to open and close without being pinched. The most troublesome piece is the door, of course, because the door has to have the hole drilled in it. It has to have notches on the back side for the babies to crawl out. It has to be the proper width. It has to have the proper length, and then the predator guard has to be drilled and cut and glued on. So these pieces are already finished, and the back piece is 12 inches tall, and I rip all the back pieces to where they're the same width. And here is the roof piece. The roof piece is cut on a 23 degree angle to match the cut of this side piece to join tightly with the back piece. My name is Jack, and I'm going to start building this, and as I build this I'm going to try to tell you how I'm doing it. I use Tightbond 2 premium wood glue. It's an exterior water resistant. It's designed for birdhouses. And once you glue this wood together with this wood, you cannot get it apart without breaking the wood. It's stronger than the wood itself. Your bottom piece and your door has to be proper sized, otherwise your door will pinch. If you notice here, the bottom piece has to be just a tiny bit wider than the door, and this keeps your door from pinching when you want to open and close it on the hinge. The roof piece is 8 inches long And like I said, it's cut on an angle on one end of 22 to 23 degrees. We'll start off with, after you get your side pieces cut, you want to nail the bottom piece on first. And you start by putting one side even with the bottom, like it is here, and we staple it along the back side. Check to make sure your staples didn't come through, because sometimes they'll curl on you. And then on this next side piece, you have to use your bottom piece to see how tight it fits on there, because you want your bottom to be fairly tight. So you put your bottom piece in there and then pull the side piece over to it. One staple there, and then go back to the top, pull it out to the edge, and staple it, and then you can finish nailing it on the side. And then again, you want to check, make sure none of your nails have come through. Next, we do the bottom piece. The bottom piece, you fit it in there. Make sure your door, the thickness of the door, is going to be flush with the front, like this. You notice here I've got it, the door sticking out about 3/16 of an inch. So what we do on that is we trim this bottom piece off with the table saw 3/16 of an inch. Now, hit that with the sandpaper and knock the edges off of it. Insert it into your birdhouse. Check it again for flushness. And here we have a very flush fitting. So now we're good to go ahead and nail this bottom piece into the birdhouse, knowing that it's the right width and the right length. If it's not, it's going to mess you up. And we're out of nails, so we need to refill the nailer. I use a nail that's 1 3/16 inch brad nail. I like brad nails better than staples. Some people like to use the small staple. I like the brad nail. It's a little bit bigger diameter, it's a little stronger. I put 3 on each side and 3 on the back. And here again, we have the basic birdhouse is constructed now, the base. This is very strong and solid. Now what really makes it strong is the top roof piece is glued on, and we do that with this glue. Sets up so tight you can't even get apart sometimes. Okay, what we do on this is we put a layer of glue down the top of each side like this. And then a layer of glue goes across the angle piece that fits to the back. This glues the sides and the top piece to the back. Like I said, once these are glued, you're not going to get them apart. Now we put one nail at the top of each side. Check to make sure it didn't come through. And you'll see inside that there's a little bit of glue that squeezes out. I have a bucket of sawdust, and I use the sawdust on the inside to keep the glue from dripping, running around. It also helps seal the cracks. Now we're ready to insert the door, and the door has to be centered on the birdhouse. You'll notice here that this edge is out further than this edge, so we need to pull that in. We insert the door into the birdhouse, push down on this side that's sticking out too far, and we hit that with a nail, and that pulls it in and holds it. Now this next side, we turn it over the other way, opposite, push down to where it's flush against the door, and hit it with a nail. So now we have the roof nailed, and we have the door to the right width to where it will hinge freely, no problem. There is a small clearance, but not very big. It makes a very nice and neat looking door opening. Now what we do is measure our screw holes for drilling the hinge, and this is very important because if you don't measure it, your hinge won't operate squarely. It'll be tilted one side to the other. It has to be drilled and measured precisely on each side so that you don't have a lopsided door opening hinge. We have to come down on each side to the middle of the board, and drill it. We use an 1 5/8 inch black hardened screw, and I run this one in with the drill, flip it over. Now we're ready to drill the other side. Okay, now we're ready to put the screw on this side. If your door opens too tightly, it could be because your screws are too tight, or the wood's swelled on one part or the other. Here we have the door